So when it comes right down to it, swapping out the faucet in your kitchen is probably one of the easiest kitchen upgrades out there. The whole process will take you less than an hour in most cases. And if you just don't like the style of the faucet that's on there, there's plenty of styles out there that you can pick one that really suits you. So I actually had to change out the faucet at my mom's house not too terribly long ago, and it's something where I recorded the process so that I could show you what I did when I was going through it. So if you want to come on with me, we'll go ahead and take a look and see what I did.
Okay, so the first thing you're going to want to do when you are working on anything involving water is to go ahead and turn off the water supply. Obviously, you don't want to disconnect something and then have water exploding in your face. As you can see, my mom's setup has a few more knobs than I think is typical. I just shut them all off to be safe because I didn't want one of them to be a dummy knob. Once you've got the water turned off on everything, you're going to want to go ahead and disconnect your supply hoses. Sometimes those can get a little bit tight in there, so you might need to grab yourself a good wrench. Sometimes they'll come right off with just your hands. I wouldn't trust it if they were coming off that easily though. Once you've disconnected those supply lines, go ahead and get a bowl or a bucket and drop those lines in there. Then you're going to reach up top and open the spigot. This is going to release any of the water that is still in the lines. And obviously you don't want that spilling everywhere. There's not going to be much, but it still is easier to keep it out of the way. Now once you've got that taken care of, you're going to want to go ahead and unhook the basin nuts that are holding everything into the sink. Now here's a pretty cool tool called a basin wrench that I use on this. Unfortunately, as you can see here, I knocked over the camera and didn't realize I did it until later. Oops. So once those basin nuts were taken off of there, then what I was able to go ahead and do was pull out the existing faucet. Now before you do a double take and wonder if I'm putting the same faucet in, it is a very similar faucet, the difference being this one is actually set up for 3 holes with a side sprayer. So instead of having 2 basin nuts, it's got 1 basin nut, and the side sprayer insert actually holds down the other side instead. So basically it just drops into that hole in the escutcheon plate, and then there's a plastic nut that goes up on the bottom there, and you just go up and hand tighten everything down there. You want to make sure you get that nice and snug. Go. Next thing that I did is dropped in the side sprayer, which this one was a pretty easy install. Basically it drops in there, and then the fitting on it is a quick fitting. Sometimes you'll actually have to screw them together, but in this case you just plug it in and it catches. Then you'll go ahead and drop your new supply lines in there. Go ahead and, again, you're going to screw those on. You're going to want to have a wrench on there to get it a little bit tighter, just snug enough that it takes care of the gasket. Alright, now here you're going to see me actually use the basin wrench to put on the basin nut on the bottom there. These are kind of a pain to get in just because of where they're located, because you're on your back, leaning into a cabinet, trying to get everything onto it, and you know, you're working around the plumbing, you're working around the garbage disposal. It's not a comfortable setup, but this basin wrench is pretty nice because basically what it does is it kind of grabs on just based on your torque when you're turning the wrench. So it's pretty easy to use. It's not a tool that you're going to use every day, but in those jobs where you need it, it is handy to have. I happen to have a friend who loaned me his and will loan me his anytime that I need it, so it's pretty nice to have somebody who has it. And I think now we should be about done there. Oh, yep, there we go. There we go. So then once everything's on there, you're just going to want to go ahead, double check, make sure everything is hooked up, then turn on your water supply or the several different knobs that are attached to your water supply or appear to be somehow related to your water supply. And then once you're done, you're going to go ahead and test it.
Now typically there would be footage of me turning on the faucet just to show you that the water was running after I turned the water supply back on. For whatever reason, I don't have that footage, so you're just going to have to trust me that my mom is still able to wash her dishes at this point. You guys, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you taking the time to come over and check out our channel. If you liked what you saw, there's a subscribe button down below. Go ahead and click that. There should be a couple projects over here that you can check out as well. If there are any materials or anything, I'm going to link them in the description. I will also link them back on the blog post, which should be linked from this video as well. So have a great day, guys. Get out there, build something, get to it.